How are you?
I'm excellent, Manny. How you doing, man?
I am wonderfully blessed as always, sir, and so are you. And a big congrats on Last Shootout. It's a nail-biting look at love and revenge told in a Western setting.
Yes, sir. That's a very good summary. I appreciate that. I think that's accurate.
Oh, you're so welcome. Take us from the very beginning, though. What got you
Yeah.
interested in joining the cast of Last Shootout? Was it because of your fellow Twilight alum, Cam Gigande?
No, I mean, listen, it was amazing to see Cam again, and of course to work with Brewster and all of the amazing cast. The thing that really excited me about it, well, two things. First of all, I love westerns. I mean, I just do. I love everything about doing westerns. I love the open terrain. I love the outfits. I love the accents. I love the sun on my face. I love the boots on my feet. I just it's as an actor, you know, you just it's like a dream. Yeah, I mean, all you want to do is just play pretend in a fun little universe, and westerns allow you to do that. You know what I mean? Like, who didn't play cowboys as a kid? So that's number one. But number two, the character was so much fun to play. There was clearly so much to dig into there. You know, he's someone that is like, he comes from this powerful family, and but ultimately can't quite live up to his father's expectations. So as a result, he develops this deep sort of insecurity and inferiority complex. And instead of kind of dealing with that on his own, he just like lashes out in all directions and is this, trying to be this big, explosive, scary, tough guy. So to find kind of the dichotomy in that was just a lot of fun as an actor. It was a really cool part to play.
You're absolutely correct. Your character of Jody, I describe him as a man in love to the point of vengeance. Am I right on
Sure.
that?
I think that's interesting. I think that's fair to say. I think of Jody more as someone who is not getting. He's not used to being told no and doesn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
I don't know that he's capable of loving someone else. I think that he was, probably I think he's obsessed, if anything, um, and and is just someone that does not. He simply does not have the emotional capacity to deal with not getting what he wants in life. So and as a result, it turns him into a monster.
Right, exactly. Now, for our viewers, though, before we go deeper into the film, tell us what Last Shootout is all about.
Yeah, so Last Shootout is about a young woman played by the super lovely and talented Skylar White, who I think is great. She's going to be a big star. She is set to marry my character, Jody Callahan, and on the night of our wedding, finds out some unfortunate information about the Callahans and about Jody specifically. She freaks out, bolts on the wedding, and is picked up in the terrain after wandering for a few days by Brock Turner, who's a kind of a lone. He's a gunman out there in the West, and he's got his own past and his own issues. And then ultimately, it just becomes a story about you know uh, about a lot of things, about love, about revenge, about possession, and empowerment, and whether or not this woman is the property of this one family, or if she gets to be free and make her own decisions. I mean, it's just, there's a lot going on here. And ultimately, it's kind of a classic Western.
Yeah.
Really what it boils down to is a bunch of guys in a gunfight over a gal. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't get much better than that, right?
You know what? You mentioned the appeal of the Western genre to you. What about the viewers? I mean, why do viewers, you think, like Westerns?
Oh gosh, I think the lack of moral ambiguity is something that people are really sort of drawn to. Like, it's very clear, who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, who you're supposed to be rooting for, and and it's like, and the stakes are really high. I mean, these are in a shootout, like someone's gonna walk away and someone else isn't, right? So And I think that there's just something, uniquely, I don't know, American or whatever it is about the aesthetic of a Western. It's kind of its own unique little world. So if that's something that you're attracted to just in terms of the aesthetic, this certainly doesn't disappoint in that regard. And then also the storylines just tend to be very sort of, very Shakespearean, right? I mean, it's like, or it was the same thing with like Kurosawa movies, or whatever it is. It's like, it's just that, high stakes, highly emotionally charged, winners and losers, good guys and bad guys, all set in cowboy hats. I don't know, there's just something really unique and cool about a Western.
That's right. Now, talk to us. Speaking of aesthetics, talk to us about the production. Was it shot during the pandemic, and how long did it take, and where was it shot, Mr. Michael?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest, it was the first project that I worked on post-pandemic, so it was kind of right still in the middle of it. And that was frankly part of, I think, why it was done the way it was done, because they just wanted everything as safe as possible and just out in the open. I mean, almost the entire movie takes place outside, and it was shot in my hometown of a little town called Santa Clarita, just outside of Los Angeles. And there's a lot of ranches out there, so we just kind of rented out a ranch for a little bit to make this movie. And it looks great. I mean, it's such a cool location. We had drone cameras for this movie, so you get a lot of sort of shots of the wide open, and excuse me. And it was just a really fun production to work on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of production, when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think of another Western film, The Tragic Rust, the movie Rust with Alec Baldwin and the fatal accidental shooting. What do you think of that, and how did you guys ensure safety during the shoot for Last Shootout?
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, I'll just let me just start by saying, I personally am not an expert on gun safety, but I've worked on enough productions with guns where I've personally had to handle guns to where I know what to look for and the things that would create red flags. None of those happened in this movie. We did everything by the book. We did use real guns, but we had one very experienced armorer. And anytime we didn't use blanks. There was no ammunition, live ammunition anywhere near the set. Everything that was done in terms of everything was done in post-production in terms of like actual gunfire and explosions and all that stuff. So I felt completely safe. Every time, like the guns are only supposed to be either in the hands of the actor or the armorer. That's exactly how we did it. And every time it switches hands, you clear the guns every single time. I'll be honest, with the protocols that are in place that you're supposed to follow, it is nearly impossible for what happened on Rust to happen. In fact, when my friends and I talked about it when you first heard about it, we were like, how is that even possible? It doesn't seem like that should be possible. So it's absolute tragedy. I know people who worked on the film. I feel so bad for everybody involved, but yeah, if the protocols are followed properly, that should never ever happen.
That's right. Thank you for that. Now, Last Shootout arrives in theaters and on demand. What do you hope for viewers to get after watching the film?
Well, first of all, if I may be so bold, I would recommend seeing this movie in theaters because I just think the immersive experience, particularly of a Western, it's going to be. I think you're going to get a lot more out of it if you put yourself, in the theater to see it. But if not, you can perfectly enjoy the film on demand as well. Listen, I think again, this is an old school Western. It deals with all of the it contains all the elements that people love about Westerns. It's gritty. It's got guns and horses and wide open terrain and old old costumes and old sets. It's very authentic. it's got good acting and a good story, and I just think that people are really gonna enjoy this movie. I really do.
Oh, and everyone was safe, right?
And everyone was safe, 100%. I would not. Listen, I know I'm kind of young, but I've been doing this about 25 years, and if something is not safe, I walk at this point in my career. It's not worth it. I mean, no movie is worth getting seriously injured over. It's just not. I mean, we're playing pretend, we're telling stories, and yes, I can assure you, nobody was injured, no animals were injured. It was 100% safe.
Great. And finally, it's the holiday season, Mr. Michael. Any plans to brighten your family's holiday?
Well, my wife is a designer, so she decorated in and out of the house at this point for about a month now. We're big fans of the holidays, and all of our matching pajamas just came in. We all have onesies, so I'll be sure to post plenty of pictures on Instagram of that. And then,
Which
yeah,
I follow, by the way.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, other than that, we're just gonna, relax and have a nice little family holiday together. I think, gosh, after the last year, 2 years that we've all had, I think we've all earned it. So I wish everybody out there a very safe and happy holiday season, and we will do the same.
Oh, a big congrats and last shootout again, and happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Really nice to meet you, Manny.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Good luck on everything, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.